Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is Bharani Nakshatra, and this is a really interesting nakshatra, I think. Everything you think you know about Venus will turn right upside down in this podcast. So let's understand the basics of Bharani. So first of all, it's located between 13 degrees and 20 minutes and 26 degrees and 40 minutes of Aries. Okay, it's got a fascinating story as well. So many eons ago, when life exploded into existence and spread throughout the universe, raw and unbridled, something mysterious was happening. To keep the living in check, death emerged in all its glory. When all was said and done, the forces holding the universe together were simplistic, really. Whatever is allowed to live is allowed to die and is reborn again ad infinitum. This was the philosophy of the universe. Bharani is known as the weight bearer. Like a mother bears her child in the womb. But natives from this constellation are much more than that. They are the gatekeepers of life and death itself. Ruled by Yama, the god of death, natives of this star group are very mysterious beings. They are similar to the Ashwin Kumars, but not quite. Because they both sort of follow Aries, but very different personalities. Bharani natives can heal, that's certain, but they can also create worlds within their own world, like growing oaks from acorns, and even pull the dying from their deathbeds. Okay, this is essentially Kundalini energy in action. The mysteriousness of life and death gives them a secretive quality to their personality. They seem suspicious, even of the most innocuous things. Well, you start to ask the question, what came first? Their personality or their attitude? It's sort of a vicious cycle. You never know. You never know with them. Much like swinging between life and death in the waters of the womb, they are not born, yet they are alive. The natives can live in two worlds. This is where we try to understand the power of Venus, because the ruler of Bharani is Venus. When we think of Venus, our mind goes to superficial places of beauty, prosperity, and romance. In the Vedas, Shiva, Lord Shiva, himself granted Venus, or Shukra, the knowledge of power, the knowledge and the power to revive the dead. It's also known as Mrit, Sanjeevni, Vidya. So the semen of man and the yoni of women are ultimate expressions of power on earth. In the light of such an expression, the world has seen some wonderful things and equally encountered the very worst. So Venus can animate the dead, but it can also keep something dead if it wants. After all, Venus rules the natural second and seventh houses in the zodiac. These are both known as the killer houses in Vedic astrology, and Venus is exalted in the 12th house of isolation, detention, and enlightenment. Very confusing for Venus to be in such spots. Ever wonder why? So, what are the characteristics of Bharani natives? The placement of Venus in a person's chart can say a lot about their own life force. Bharani natives are beautiful with attractive features. They can have hormonal changes and a long-standing desire for procreation. Legacy is important to them. They have mysterious smiles that hide an intense need for control. Many midwives, mystics, prostitutes even, and their clients both. Narcissistic personalities fall under this category, and even serial killers have prominent Bharani influence in their charts. Yet, it is a deeply spiritual nakshatra. Their desire for control leads to extreme metamorphosis, like a pressure cooker that doesn't whistle eventually blows up the kitchen. When put through such binds, their language can turn rather ugly. They better watch what they say, because sometimes their words can kill, literally kill. On the flip side, even gentle encouragement from a Bharani native can pull someone off the ledge. So they have very, very powerful personalities. They can also have a dual nature to themselves, as their mood swings can be extreme. That's often seen. Often natives have to adapt to such pressures from a young age and learn to endure. That is why they are the bearers of weight. What are they bearing? Weight of emotion, weight of the world. Eventually, when the trials of life subside and Venus blesses the natives with extraordinary skills, materialistic wealth, and pleasures, that is when they show their more benevolent sides, because their cup is then full and they can pour from it. You then notice their honesty, their determination, and generous attitudes come forth. You can only give what you have, after all. Balance is the crux of this nakshatra. Venus ruled over Libra and Taurus. Libra represents balance, and Taurus is the most stable sign in the zodiac. The three fixed stars in the constellation represent the female sexual organ, and triangle is the most stable structure within the universe. In Vedic astrology, especially in Nadi astrology, we look at trines very closely to understand the relationship between planets supporting each other. So the weight of existence is quite heavy for Bharani natives. Extreme circumstances tend to follow them around because Yama rules this nakshatra of birth and death. Natives can experience, losses of children as well, because children and birth and death are both connected in this nakshatra. However, this will depend on other combinations within the chart, so it's not black and white. Shani, as a god, can be pacified with remedies, but Yamaraj is not so benevolent. So complete transformation, along with leaving the past behind, is guaranteed, with the added promise of towing the thin line between power and pain. Natives are born into this simulation to indulge in Venusian activities. They can be seen exhibiting witty, intelligent, and creative solutions to the weirdest problems. Sensuality can go to extremes and result in complex, obsessive relationships. And restraint here is required. Venus and Mars coming together causes a Gadanta effect and inflames this desire. The water element pulls them down through undercurrents, leading to confusion in relationships, which can be hot and cold. Honesty, fairness, and trust are important here. But the battle is often within them, and this confuses them even further. Power comes through the ability to analyze the mistake and never repeat it. This is where we start wondering about Saturn and Yama's role with Bharani. Why Saturn? Because Saturn is debilitated in this part of Aries. This is where it gets challenging. In the quest for balance, one is destined to fail at least once in their lives till they learn their lesson. trick is not to get into a downward spiral and keep pushing through the challenges, and they are sure to find a breakthrough. Bharani is a testing nakshatra. It will keep you oscillating between doing the right thing or choosing the easy thing. Do you choose restraint and ethics, or do you choose the fast solution? This is where the dilemma lies. Yama enforces discipline and restraint and the law of karma. But when a Bharani native is hurting, they can project onto others, and as a result, jealousy tends to follow. I think the concept or philosophy of hurt people is really applies here. So this is where Yama puts his foot down. Bharani means someone who bears the weight, pressures, and responsibility. There can be disgrace and dishonor within legacies if not careful, and oceans of transformation from one world to another as Yama ferries the souls of the dead. Things that are discarded can be made to look new, and so Venus brings the dead back to life. With all this talent in tow, codependency and confusion remains a persistent problem for such natives. And why wouldn't it be? How much transformation can a person really endure? This exposure to the real world is rather daunting. Just like you wouldn't want to meet Yamraj ever, the activities of which house Bharani occupies in your chart will worry you a little. The significators of that house abandon you, or you may abandon them. Partners, children, bosses, mothers, just sort of up sticks and leave, ripping the cord unceremoniously. Things he could count on is now your sole responsibility. There is no getting away from responsibility with this nakshatra. Responsibility and weight, they go hand in hand. Due to such prominence of endings, the body tends to develop incurable diseases. But in return, Bharanians make for the greatest medical inventors, like stem cell researchers, pioneers into the field of neuroregeneration, and even test tube designer children are some that come to mind. So, very interesting and very rich nakshatra. Now, the fixed star associated with Bharani are Menkar and Almak. So Mars and Venus are the biggest cheerleaders of Bharani because Mars rules Aries and Venus rules Bharani. If you understand their combined message, you can master this nakshatra in your chart. Natives born under this constellation are female representations of extreme sexual energy or the unbridled kundalini. Often they are Devi worshippers. Mystery and natural power defines them. They are motivated by creation and not remotely fazed by endings. When you meet a Bharani native, it's likely they may avoid you. And for some unexplained reason, you may avoid them. Because outside of mystery novels, I don't think anyone likes mystery that much. But when you get to know them, there is no turning back. As with anything in life, change is the only thing permanent with such beings. So, in the universe, they're very, very cherished. Thanks for listening. I hope this podcast was interesting to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.